Hey everyone, welcome back. And this week on Wednesday's Wisdom, I'm going to talk about calling some geese. Okay, here in New York, we have a late March season. Some people call it the spring season. And in that season, we have about 4 days left. So the reason I want to talk about calling geese is because I am by no means the world's greatest goose caller. I learned from some of my buddies, Cody, the Stonewells, my cousin Austin. Some of them gave me some little tips and tricks here and there. Last weekend was the first chance I got to go out and call solely by myself. I took my dad out, basically guided my dad, scouted the field, found the birds, and was calling and setting up the decoys all on my own. He's even more of a novice at it than I am, so it was my first chance to really get out there and feel it out for myself, and sometimes that can be a little bit intimidating. But the reason I want to talk about calling geese is because I want to prove to people that if you really want to get into it, that it's not necessarily as hard as you might think it is. There's a handful of calls that you can learn that are on the easier side. People talk about these spit notes and all these crazy things. You don't need to learn any of that to kill geese, because I didn't use any of that to kill the geese that we killed this weekend. We shot 5 and we should have shot 10, which would have been the limit. But I'll have to admit I did some good, really, really good missing. But so here's some of the calls that I used this weekend that aren't that hard to learn with a little bit of practice, and you can get out there and hopefully kill some geese yourself if you're looking to become a new waterfowler. So the first and most important call I'd say is your cluck. It's basically the shortened version of the honk that you can learn on a call. This is the Canadian hammer, the Buck Gardner Canadian hammer. It's like one of the cheapest goose calls you can buy, but I killed geese with this. So don't worry also about buying a $300 call or something like that for your first call. Get one and get some practice on it. So here's the cluck. Once again, the point I'm trying to make is if you go and watch other videos, I'm telling you, the people are going to sound way more crisp than I am and way more, maybe even realistic than I am. But that's the calling I was doing this weekend when we killed birds. I was calling birds back. I was getting birds to turn around. And right now it should be the hardest time. It's the latest season. Birds have been being shot at from Canada, birds that are coming back, all that stuff. So don't worry about being overly perfect. Get out there and call to birds, because that's the only time you're really going to get better and see how much it really matters. The next call I'd say would be the best one to learn would be your honk, because the honk is really a moaning sound into your cluck. So that's all. Then by that point you'll have 3 sounds that you can make when you're calling geese. So here's your honk. And all that is a blow through the call, cut off really hard with your tongue pushing against the roof of your mouth. So no guys explain it this way. So here's it out of the back of the call. And once again, right out the front. And the last piece I would give is they talk about this moaning sound. I personally don't like the way it sounds out of this call, but I used it all weekend and it worked for me. So it's basically the reverse of your honk. So you're going to have I like to do a cluck and then the moan, because that gets you the reed moving and seems to make it sound a little bit better. But your moaning sound is more of just a and that's just a rumble, like you're clearing your throat, pushing with the air from your diaphragm like they talk about, and blowing it through the call. So the way I like to use that is a cluck or 2, and then the moan. So as you can see, you don't need to be a world-class caller. You just need to be someone that's willing to put in a little bit of practice and be willing to make some mistakes in the field, and you can get out there and kill yourself some birds. So if you guys like this video, please go subscribe, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and I hope to see more of you guys get out next season.